Okay, good afternoon and welcome everyone to another episode of College and Career Pathways, where every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m. we provide you with information on various colleges and universities, financial aid resources, technical schools, training programs, skilled trade professions, career exploration, employment opportunities, and career readiness skills, all designed to help you make the best career decisions possible. I'm Tony Curitin, your host, and today we have Brandy from Adrian College. Welcome. We are so glad to have you.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. Warm inside when it's snowy and cold outside.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
I'll start. My name's Brandy. I am the admissions counselor that works with the Metro Detroit area. Typically on a normal year, I would be kind of all over the place at college fairs. And I know you guys are virtual, but in-person classes and such. Adrian, if you guys have ever or never heard of Adrian College before, we are located in Adrian, Michigan. Probably about an hour and a half-ish away from you guys, depending on kind of where you guys live. But we are about 45 minutes north of Toledo, definitely south of Ann Arbor. So kind of in the middle of nowhere. Adrian is a small town, a couple cornfields you got to drive through to get here. But we are a small school, about 1,800 students. So small class sizes. We have about 25, 30 kids in a classroom. We are really known for our sports. So we have almost 50 different sport teams on campus, but definitely plenty of students who are non-athletes as well. Couple new sports we just got is esports, and we actually just got that as a minor and a major for esports management. We also just got men's and women's rugby, which is super exciting. I've never been to a rugby, I think it's called a match. That will be fun to kind of check out once that team officially begins. But we are a private college, so a liberal arts. So you first couple years are definitely, you'll take some courses in all different areas. Every student takes an art course and every student takes a language course and stuff like that. You get kind of a broad degree, but definitely with over, I want to say 50 different majors to pick between. Our most popular are probably pre-med and business, but I feel like that's very common on a lot of college campuses. About 15 different business majors, and then really everything under the sun from musical theater, lots of communications, film studies, public relations. We are pretty known for our athletic training program as well. So a little bit of everything kind of over the board, lots of different options to kind of dabble with. But with our application process, so Adrian is a free application. We are not on the Common App, unfortunately, but you can go straight to our website and apply for free directly on adrian.edu. We do not have an essay, so pretty quick and easy. We base our admissions off of your GPA. If you are straight out of high school, we take just your high school cumulative GPA. If you take any dual enrollment or any college courses, as long as you have 24 credits, we will take your college GPA. So for some students, if you choose to transfer into Adrian. But all you gotta do is send over your official transcripts for us to see your GPA. And then we base your admissions off of that. This has been a weird year that I think the next couple years will affect, and test scores are completely optional. So if you have taken an ACT or SAT and would like to send that over, you are more than welcome to, but we are not requiring it, and it definitely won't hurt your application. In rare cases, some students do better on a test score than their GPA, so it helps them a little bit with scholarships. But for the most part, most students do better with their GPA than their test scores, so it's not needed at all. But with kind of our requirements, so to receive a scholarship, our scholarships start at a GPA of 2.7. That locks you in with a $13,000 scholarship per year. And then they go all the way up to our highest is with a 3.9 or higher GPA, which is $20,000 a year. So with a private school, we definitely do have a little bit heavier of a starting price for tuition and housing, but we tend to give a lot more aid and grants and scholarships. So for most students, it does end up being pretty comparable to a larger state school, but we work with every single family one-on-one. So if you guys are interested in Adrian or know someone interested in Adrian, they would work specifically with me with finding a price that would be affordable for them and specific to their family and their family's FAFSA. So full price, Adrian, is about 51 grand a year, which sounds very hefty at first, but I promise nobody pays 51 grand a year. Those scholarships kind of come right off the top, and then other grants and aid you receive from your FAFSA or from Adrian College directly will come kind of right off the top and are guaranteed for all 4 years from us. So like I kind of said before, it's very comparable to a state school once you get those grants and scholarships kind of in the mix. But trying to think what else. So does anyone have any questions you kind of want to throw in the chat as of right now that maybe have struck your head as I was talking? So I will say, Adrian, about 95% of our students live on campus all 4 years. We don't really have too many commuters besides students who live in the general area. We really try to make it a traditional 4-year college, but we definitely have had non-traditional students who have come to Adrian. You are more than welcome to have a car on campus all 4 years, even as a freshman. The college owns about 10 apartment complexes, about 30 houses, and then tons of different dorm rooms to pick between for living on campus. So even though you're on campus for 4 years, you don't have to live in a dorm every single year. And then your parking spots correspond kind of with your housing. So you do have a parking pass fee, but it includes you to park in special lots, which is nice. But what other questions do you guys kind of have? It could be anything. No one.
You guys got no questions?
It's all good. It's all good.
Oh, are you guys back on campus?
Yes, we are. So we are pretty much 100% in person right now. All students were tested before the beginning of the semester before moving in. And we have free testing on campus kind of for all students, but the majority of our classes are in person. Some professors have like elected to be online, but for the most part, we are in person.
Good deal. All right. So nobody has any questions? Oh.
That's okay.
Well,
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
What kind of courses do you guys have?
Yeah.
Such as in like the nursing field and stuff like that. Are you able to pick what courses you want to be in, or?
For sure. So unfortunately, we do not have nursing. We do have a lot of different pre-med tracks that you can do where you would get an undergrad degree in like biology or chemistry and then go on to another health field. But we don't have a bachelor's of nursing, unfortunately.
Okay. And then you guys have, it's a private campus, correct? You guys are private district.
Yep, we are a private college.
So with that, you would have to, like how you were saying, you have to have a certain GPA and you have to have 24 credits, correct?
Nope, so you only have to have 24 credits if you are transferring in. If you are coming right out of college, or sorry, right out of high school, you don't have to have any college credits.
Okay. That's, cause I'm right now, I was looking for a college that was like for going towards the nursing field. It is my first Zoom meet that I have ever been in with you guys because I haven't gotten email about any other Zoom meets that you guys have. And I wish I would have knew before, but I'm glad to hear about whatever is going on with over there. I have family in Adrian, so
Oh,
I'm
awesome.
glad
Yeah.
I got to catch you guys before then.
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely had students who have gone into nursing after. Typically, they would study for 4 years at Adrian in biology and then go on and do an accelerated nursing program afterwards. So it is definitely doable, but me being a genuine human, there are other routes that are a little faster and would be a little cheaper at other colleges where they just have the straight bachelor's degree of nursing.
Okay.
If you will type in your email address, I can send you some information on schools that have nursing programs.
Okay.
If I were trying to encourage one of my students to go to your college, small classroom sizes is probably a plus. About what are the average classroom sizes?
Yeah. So typically kind of your freshman level are probably 25, 30 kids. When you get up to those more specific upper level classes, it probably gets a little smaller, more in the 15, 20 range. With labs, like specifically probably being about 10 students in a lab for like science labs. So that's really like hands-on, one-on-one with your professors.
Of course, another plus is I remember being in college and kind of disappearing because it was so big.
Yeah.
If you didn't belong to a fraternity or a sorority or sports, you just really didn't feel like you belong. Would you say your sense of community is very strong there because you're smaller?
Yes, I would agree with that 100%. With a smaller school, at least I've noticed that a lot of students like to get involved in multiple things. It's a little bit easier when you probably know someone already in that club or that organization or in that Greek life organization. So our students tend to get very involved and are at least involved in like one or two club or honor society or Greek life or something. So and it's nice when you can walk in the dining hall or walk into a sports game and you recognize a lot of faces that you see over and over. So I definitely think it brings that smaller community together.
And what kind of social fraternities and sororities do you have there? Do you have quite a wide variety?
Yeah, so we have 5 fraternities, and then we have 3 nationally recognized sororities, and then 1 that's more of a local sorority. But they all go through Greek life, or sorry, they all go through recruitment. They're all affiliated with like their national, so they go to conferences and stuff like that.
Do you know your 3?
Yeah. So 3 sororities are Chi Omega, Alpha Sigma Alpha, and then Alpha Phi, which is one that I was in.
Yeah, you can tell I'm a sorority girl. That's first.
I love it. I used to have a sign in here, but I think I took it down for Alpha Phi. But yeah, and then the local one is one that kind of started up within the past couple of years, and they're waiting to kind of get scooped up by a nationally recognized sorority.
And how are you combating COVID? I heard you say that, well, you have testing sites set up, but if you've got a classroom of 30 students, what does that look like?
Yeah, so this semester specifically, a lot of the class sizes have been, if they had 30, they actually got moved into a lecture hall that holds much more. So every desk is kind of separated and every other seat. Many of the classrooms have plexiglass between the professor and where the students sit. And then many classes where they would have been larger have like been moved online, or for students who may be quarantining or test positive, they are able to Zoom into the class and virtually be there. And all our dining halls have walk-up windows if you don't want to go into the dining hall and don't feel comfortable, as well as they all have to-go options instead of just like the buffet sitting down. But with our health center on campus, they offer free testing. So we really encourage students to kind of go if they feel like they have any symptoms. But every single building has temperature checkers that you can walk right up to, and they take your temperature, as well as every student's required to fill out a short questionnaire asking kind of, have you had shortness of breath? Have you had your temperature? Like all those kind of questions every day.
It sounds like it's pretty much business as usual, because I know you can have the students set apart in the classroom, but I know students, and when they get out of class, they're congregating together. Do you have any rules about that, or is it just business as usual?
So we don't have any specific rules about that. It's kind of up to the students. I know some colleges have made some stricter rules, but we haven't really. We haven't really had many problems kind of in the fall when everyone got back to campus. We did have a little bit of a spike in cases. So this semester we required every student to come back with a negative before they were allowed to move on campus. And then we encourage students not to leave or go home unless they need to, but we don't like police them to make sure they don't leave. So it is up to them and kind of their free will, how they like to social distance and kind of practice those guidelines.
I'm sorry, one last question.
Yeah.
You have a minimum GPA requirement to be admitted. Approximately, like, how many students will apply each year? Do they all get accepted? Is there a minimum GPA?
Yeah, so the minimum GPA that I can guarantee a student will be admitted is a 2.4. Below a 2.4, kind of depending on how close they are. We do hold for interviews, and we'll interview the student just to learn more about why their GPA is lower than a 2.4. A lot of times this helps students who are recovering from a rough kind of freshman year or sophomore year, especially with COVID. A lot of students didn't do well kind of that semester or year. So giving them a chance to speak on their GPA. And then if they have below like a 1.9, 1.8, they'll definitely be denied, unfortunately. And I forgot the part 2 of your question.
Yeah, that's good enough. It looks like the young lady has a question, so I'll let her go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I had a quick question because all of my high school year, I'm in my last year of high school, and starting in my freshman year, I had a lot of problems going on with a lot of deaths in my family, so I missed a lot of school and I had to travel a lot, and that made my GPA really low, lower than average. So I couldn't go back to the high school I was attending. And after that, I was in online school before COVID even started. So I was in online school from my freshman year till now. And I was wondering how is it on your campus? Are students more social, or are they more like they're in their own world? Are they welcoming and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, the way I like to always kind of explain to students is what you do for fun right now at home. If that's playing video games, if that's hanging out with friends in the weekend, like you can continue all those things at college. So, we have lots of sporting events, Greek life events that they put on. We have been working really hard to do some virtual events with different like trivia nights, and I'm trying to think, when it was warm out, we did movie nights where people can spread out. And we have this big grassy area in the middle of campus where people could easily social distance and go. So we're trying to still hold events for students to get involved and kind of have that sense of community, with also being careful and kind of social distancing, or doing things online so they can be at home. But I would say our campus is very welcoming, very opening. We constantly are having new clubs join to kind of bring new interests that other students are interested in. But I mean, you just kind of what you explained, I think you would benefit a ton from our academic services office. We offer free tutoring, we offer free mentoring. There's a ton of really cool organizations and peer mentors that you can kind of get involved in. And when you become an upperclassman, you can start mentoring younger students. And it's a great way to kind of make friendships that way and also just be a leader to kind of a younger student when they need someone to look up to, and you can kind of be the one they look up to once you're older.
And that's another thing that I'm glad you mentioned, because in my middle school year going into high school, I've always had a mentor. In my middle school year, I was doing really, really good. And then out of nowhere, I I have depression. So there's times where I'm good and then sometimes where I'm not. And it started in middle school. So when I had started going through a phase, I was doing really bad and they introduced me to a mentor. And I had no idea what a mentor was. So you guys do have mentors on your campus. I have a mentor now through virtual, like I talk to her on Zoom, but in the college campus that you guys have mentors?
Yeah, so all freshmen are assigned a mentor that they work with once they are officially enrolled. You are also assigned an academic advisor. So that is someone that will kind of mentor you through specifically the major that you're interested in. But then also, like I mentioned, our academic services, they are there constantly for anything academic based. If you need any help with tutoring or issues with a professor or just kind of needing someone to be there academically.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Brandy, I would like to know, you mentioned that the minimum GPA is 2.4.
Yep.
Do you have a bridge program for students that have just a little bit under 2.4?
So we don't have like a bridge program. Typically below that 2.4, they would just set up an interview with me and then we would just kind of talk about why it is below a 2.4. And then based on how the interview goes, we would admit them on that.
Okay,
Would you
okay.
recommend going to a community college to get your GPA up higher first?
I do. So usually in the interview, we kind of talk about if it was just one semester that kind of tanked the GPA, or if it was just they aren't as good at high school as they want to be to kind of and aren't ready to kind of go to college. So usually I recommend going to community college to get your grades up. Most students do improve when they go to the community college. And then move up and to get a scholarship, which ultimately helps them save a little money down the road.
And just for our friend on the line, community college is very affordable. So it's a really good place to start. If you're able to get in with your GPA, great, life is good. But if you're not, going to a community college, it's way more affordable. Of course, you cannot get your full degree at the community college sometimes, but you can go there, get admitted, get your grade point up, and then once your grade point is up higher, maybe you would even get it up high enough to get a scholarship at Adrian.
Correct. Yeah.
And then another thing I was gonna ask, how is it over there? How is college life at the college you go to or that you're at?
Yeah. So, do you mean like just in general? Like in what context?
Like just in general, do you enjoy it? Do you feel like do you feel like it's a strain on most students, or do you feel like at the same time they're educating themselves and enjoying life? Because I have a couple of cousins that are in college, and the college that they went to, they stopped going because it was too much for them. But I also have cousins that enjoy going to college and have fun there and are still educating themselves. And I
Yeah.
was just wondering how it was over there.
So I feel like college is way different than high school. You kind of learn how to, one, be on your own. You no longer living at home, and you have to learn time management is the big thing. So Some students thrive off that, making their own schedule, planning when they're going to eat, knowing when they go to bed. There's no really parent or authority figure there to kind of tell you when to do those things. So some students love that, kind of being on their own, but definitely some students struggle when trying to figure out how to time manage on their own and not having someone there. So it can get stressful and kind of hard for some students who don't learn right away how to manage their time, how to study on time, how to get their homework done on time, that kind of stuff. But the biggest thing for Adrian is we really try to set you up with people to support you, to help you when you need help. But the biggest advice I have for you, kind of with wherever you go, is don't be afraid to ask for help. Wherever you decide to go to school, I'm sure they will have an academic services office that you can ask for help. I'm sure they will have an advisor for you that you can turn to. So just finding the resources you need to get the best education and kind of help you learn is the best way you can kind of set yourself up for success.
Okay, and I have another question. It's a question that I ask for whatever school I go to, so I don't mean it in any type of way. But you guys have mixed nationalities at your school, or is it a majority of one, or is it all of a mixture?
Yeah, so we do have a mixture. Being a private school, I would say probably 10 years ago, we were majority of white students, but now we have been working very hard to bring some diversity. We do have tons of different clubs all over the map that kind of have helped out with this. We've really been trying to recruit kind of all over the place. With our grants, help definitely make it more affordable to kind of lower income areas. And then also you get a mix of people from other countries, which is super exciting. We usually bring in about 60 to 100 international students. So you get students from close by, Canada, and then tons of different countries that I probably don't even know how to pronounce the name, but all over the map. I would say our diversity rate, I think, is about 30 or 40%. So constantly growing, still not as high as we would want it to be, but we are working really hard to kind of bring some more diversity to campus.
Okay, that's good. It was just a question that I had in mind because I mean, living in a world like now, it's just a question you would have to ask.
For sure, yeah.
And how's your classes like over there? With like the time frame? Is it like regular like high school, or it's different times and different days you have different classes and stuff like that?
So you will be able to build your own schedule. Typically for all colleges, you get to pick your own schedule where if you like morning classes, you sign up for the morning. If you like evening classes, you can sign up for all evening courses. Every class has like different sections. So if you need a math class, you have that same math class. You can pick between having it once a week for 3 hours or 3 times a week for only 1 hour each. All of that you kind of get to pick yourself.
Okay, thank you.
I did want to address the comment you made with regards to having friends and relatives that had challenges when they went to school, when they went to college. And I wanted to say that no matter which college you pick, they all have a student services department where they have counselors, academic advisors, people that you can reach out to and talk with about whatever difficulty you are experiencing. And if they cannot help you directly with the issue, they can point you in a direction where you can be serviced to the best of their ability as a college or a university. And so I wouldn't get frustrated about whatever issues you may encounter, because there is always a department or a group on a college campus that can address it somewhat.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because for everybody, it's different, you know. Some people can't handle it, some people can. Some people know how to balance out what's going on with them and talk to someone, and some people can't. And I should have asked the question differently than how I stated it.
It's okay. It's okay.
But thank you.
You guys got any more questions? Well, then we will wrap this up. Thank you so much, Brandy, for your time and your
Yes.
presentation on Adrian College. Excellent program, you guys. With that, I'm going to say that's all we have for today. And thank you for joining in, and we'll see you all later.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye, you guys.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.